be able to stand here today, share my vision, and contribute my voice to the global goals. So my name is Dr. Iyabo Ojikutu. I'm a mom, a proud mom to two lovely daughters. They're 19 and 13 years old. I'm a pediatrician, private practice owner, and my practice is located in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm also a first-time author, and my book is titled Permanent Happiness. So I'd like to introduce everyone today to the concept of permanent happiness, which is closely related to peace. So when we talk about happiness, what's the first visual that comes to mind? We think about somebody who's maybe smiling really wide, who's shouting for joy, or maybe doing a happy dance or a happy twirl because something outside of them has happened, like a job raise or job promotion, or maybe they got a really nice gift from a loved one and they're really happy and excited. When we talk about peace, on the other hand, the visual that comes to mind is somebody who's in a quiet, solemn mood. Maybe they're introspective. And then sometimes when we think about peace also, we often think about the beauty of nature. We think about a lovely sunset or sunrise, or we think about a beautiful field somewhere with flowers, with birds chirping, and in that situation we find peace. Permanent happiness is the balance between these two states. So we know that life is never going to be that bed of roses. We're going to have ups and downs. So that's what permanent happiness is. It's the sustenance of happiness and peace during the ups and downs of life. Who doesn't want to be able to have both? I would really like to be happy, to be euphoric, really excited sometimes. But then when life isn't going well, we lose a loved one, or all the global issues, natural disasters, disease outbreaks, wars, and all those happen, we still have to find peace. We still have to find calmness of mind. So permanent happiness is the balance between those two. So how do we find those? How do we get into that state of permanent happiness, and how do we maintain it? So in my book, I have 3 steps that enable us get into that state and maintain that state. They're simple steps, maybe not so easy, but they are simple steps that we can all embark upon to find that individual personal peace. And obviously I cannot discuss all 3 with you today, but I do want to discuss one with you, and I'll do that in just a minute. So permanent happiness starts from inside all of us. It's an inside job. We have to choose to be happy, and then as we find individual and personal happiness, then we can spread out our hands and spread it to families, to communities, to societies. There's no way we can find world peace if we're not all individually happy and peaceful. And as we transform individually and find peace, then we have to go back to the basics. I'm a pediatrician, so obviously I'm all about kids, I'm all about families. So we have to go back to the basic family unit, and when we're talking about the family unit, we're referring to all family units. So the conventional mom and dad family unit, same-sex parents, single mom, single dad, grandparents who parent as well, and then we mustn't forget the really important group, the foster homes and the adoptive homes, because they take care of a big chunk of our kids, so we do have to think about those two. And why do we have to focus on the family unit? Well, because kids have to be at the forefront of world peace. If we don't engage our children and get them involved in the peace process, it's not going to work. Children are seeds for a brighter future, and they are very potential hope for finding world peace. So we must involve our kids. So as adults, we must guide, we must nurture, inspire, influence our children so that we can guide them on their life path. So that's one of the steps. So I just discussed it. Influence is one of the steps to permanent happiness. It's very, very important that we all try as much as possible to be influencers, to be mentors, to get involved in humanitarian services and peace projects as much as we can. Because if we're not influencing people, there's not going to be peace. You can start small. So you can start in your immediate community, partner with schools, engage elementary students, middle school students, high school, college age students, and just pour into them as much as possible. I've been teaching and mentoring medical students for the past 12 to 14 years, and that has been the single most fulfilling part of my career. It's been really rewarding, and I really do find internal peace from that. One of the medical students that I mentored is in the audience today, Juliet. She's the one with the pink phone here. She's now an MD. She's graduated. She's finishing up her residency in the Bronx, and she will also be in private practice from December. So she's going to then go and pass on that influence, and on it goes. So it's really important that we find people to mentor. As we find influence, we create a countrywide web and then a worldwide web of influence, fulfillment, and peace. So from my point of view, I'm personally committed to these global goals, and I'll continue to use my voice, my writing in the form of my books and my blog, and my active involvement in projects that impact lives. The Sustainable Development Goals pertaining to health and wellness for all, gender equality, quality education, peace, are a few of the ones that I'm really passionate about. And then I'm going to change gears just a little bit, just to talk about the natural disasters that have been going on in our world recently, the hurricanes in Texas and Florida, which were really unfortunate, so much devastation, and then now we have Hurricane, I think, Maria, that is impending, that is upon Puerto Rico, which is just going to cause more damage and devastation. It's really hard to watch all that on the TV, but it's also really refreshing, and it brings me hope when we see people helping strangers, when we see men carrying women and pets and kids and just guiding them to safety, even though they don't know who they are. In that situation, color doesn't matter. Race and religion doesn't matter. Economic status and age doesn't matter. All we think about then is just we're selfless and we're being kind and we're helping our fellow humans. So our natural, innate human instinct is what is coming out there. So it really shouldn't have to take extreme disasters like hurricanes and tornadoes for us to influence others. Really, we should be doing that in our everyday life on a daily basis because it benefits us as well as other people. This is my goal, this is my hope, this is my dream, to promote the sustainable goal of permanent happiness and peace in each individual, in our families, and then this spreads into our communities and we find world peace. And I believe we all have the power to do this. I'm going to talk about music in a second. So, I love John Legend's music. I really do. There's one song in particular that I really like. It's called Ordinary People. And there's two lines. He says, "We're ordinary people, we don't know which way to go." And I choose to disagree. So I'm sorry, John Legend, but I believe we're all extraordinary people, and we do know which way to go. We all do. It's just that sometimes we don't get up to go. So he may have to do a remix of that song, I don't know, but I would like to say that we're all extraordinary people. We just have to get up, we have to believe in ourselves, and we have to use our extraordinariness to create impact and to change the world, because none of us is ordinary. And I'm going to end with one of my favorite quotes. I do love quotes. I like reading quotes from other people that inspire me. The one I'm going to quote is by Norman Cousins, who is an American journalist. He's an author, a professor, and world peace advocate. And he just sums it really nicely in 7 words. It's a very inspiring statement. He says, "We will not have peace by afterthought." And I just think this is so brilliant because often we think about peace when when so many disasters have happened and so many negative things are going on. But it must be at the forefront of everything we do, because with peace, everything else is possible. Thank you very much.